What is up, you guys? I am Sid, and today we are going to be talking about 8 pagan holidays. So I was researching this because in my intuition and divinations class, I teach a Zoom class on Thursdays. If you guys are interested, email me. I can send you the link to the Zoom or to the playbacks. But so next week class falls on Halloween because I do classes on Thursdays. And I was like, we have to talk about pagan holidays. This is like the witchy course. This is the intuition divinations course. So we got to talk about pagan holidays. And I realized that I don't really know much about them. So yesterday I was researching, and today I'm going to bring this information to you guys, to YouTube, because it is spooky season. I was laughing at myself yesterday when I realized that 2 nights ago I filmed a video, a tarot card tour, and then I looked at my YouTube channel. I did that last year. I was like, nope, redo. We're gonna do the pagan holidays, and then next week we'll talk about pendulums, witchy jewelry, etc. So today I wanted to talk about these 8 main pagan holidays. I never realized how cool it was laid out. Like, there is a holiday for each solstice and equinox, so there's 4 right there, right? Each of the 4 main seasons. And then there's a holiday in between each of those season transitions as well, which makes 8. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And when I get a plot of land and when I have a hippie community with my hippie neighbors, these are the holidays that we're going to celebrate. We're going to be celebrating the turning of the seasons, our connection to Mother Earth, to the sun, our true light source. So yeah, and it's interesting to see the correlations, especially between Ostara, which is very much so like Easter and these other holidays celebrated around that time in the spring equinox. So let's get into these. I'm going to apologize now if I butcher any pronunciations. That's not my intention. I just have a very strong American accent. I'm sorry. We're going to start off with Ostara and kind of go in that order because to me, spring feels like the new year. However, it is important to say that Samhain, Halloween time, the end of October, the beginning of November, the Day of All Hallows Eve, Day of the Dead, that is really the pagan, more so Wiccan new year. But to me, my springtime feels more like the new year. So, Ostara, the spring equinox. Other holidays like Easter, etc., are celebrated during this time as well, but it is the spring equinox, so that is usually March 21st, depending on the year. It might be the 19th, 20th, 22nd. Usually it's around March 21st. So this is the beginning of the lighter half of the year. The sun is coming out more, right? We're celebrating that. We're celebrating new life in nature. This is when lots of animals have their babies, okay? It's also, like I said, when the sun is coming out more. So celebrations include coloring, and not just even coloring, but decorating eggs in general, okay? Planting seeds. This is a good time to plant your seeds, literally for your crops, okay? And performing rituals that honor the balance of light and dark, because this is not the lightest day of the year. That's in the summer. This is a day where there's perfect balance, actually, of light and dark. But we're celebrating now coming into the more lighter half of the year. The eggs, we're decorating new life, okay? Honoring the female yoni, which is bringing life. That's also wrapped in here too. Planting the seeds. This is time to start planting your seeds, both physically and emotionally and spiritually and metaphorically as well, okay? And then nowadays with Easter celebrations, you've got the bunnies, you've got the chicks. I think that's just springtime new life, and that's how that came into play. But the decorating of the eggs has lasted a long time, okay? So I think that's very cool. That's Ostara. Then we've got Beltane, Mayday. Usually it's May 1st, but actually it is the second new moon after the spring equinox. So people call it Mayday because they celebrate it on May 1st, but really back in the day, like, this is a Celtic holiday, okay, which is usually celebrated the second new moon after the spring equinox, okay? This is spring, almost summer. Around May 1st, it's called Mayday, Beltane. It's celebrating the divine feminine and the divine masculine coming together in like a fruitful, bountiful union, okay? So celebrating men and women coming together, creating life, Mayday celebrations include bonfires, wearing wreaths or crowns made of flowers, dancing around the maypole, which is this like big tall pole, usually with like streamers, banners, kind of ribbons attached to it. And then kids, especially, or adults, hold on to one of those streamers or ribbons and like dance their way around this maypole. And then also they crown like a May queen, they call it. It's kind of like a prom queen, but it's a Mayday queen. They also modernly have like a May king. Usually it's the boy who finishes the race first. They run to the hawthorn tree or something, and that's the May king. But really they crown the May queen. It's usually a young girl whose parents are kind of important, somebody who's giving back to the community, who's pure, who's nice, who's kind, that kind of thing. But what Beltane is really about, what Mayday is really about, is the union of the divine masculine, divine feminine, coming together, creating life, having bonfires, celebrating that time that's almost summer. And then Litha midsummer celebration. It's the summer solstice, about June 21st, 19th through 22nd, one of those days depending on the year. It's the longest day of the year. It's the day of the year where the sun is out the most, okay? It's the longest daylight day. The sun is at its maximum power. It's summertime, so there's bonfires. There's bonfires to honor the sun's light. They have outdoor feasts, and there's rituals that honor the warmth and light of the sun and abundance of the season. That's what it's about. People coming together, celebrating that longest day of the year, celebrating the sun's warmth. That's midsummer. Then we've got Llamas, Lofmas, lughnasadh. Sorry for that pronunciation. I'm just gonna call it Llamas, but really the lughnasadh, a root word, lu. It's a Celtic deity associated with grains, because Llamas, it's like the beginning of harvest season. It's summer, almost fall, but they're starting to harvest their first things. They're harvesting the first grains for bread making, so that's why it's associated with like Lofmas, with the deity associated with grains. So Llamas is about August 1st, okay? It's the second new moon after the summer solstice. Llamas celebrations include making dolls out of corn, feasting, having that first harvest, having a little feast, playing games, doing contests, people coming together, just celebrating the start of the harvest season. And then mabon, it's about September 21st, okay? This is the fall equinox now. So we are celebrating the transition from the lighter half of the year to the darker half of the year. We're celebrating the balance between light and dark. It is equal amounts light and dark today, but we're celebrating going into the dark, retreating more. We're also giving thanks for the harvest because it's still harvest season. We're making offerings with fruit and vegetables. We're performing ceremonies and decorating, usually with pumpkins and squash and corn and vines, okay? This is like that fall time. In modern day, this is when we're starting to go to pumpkin patches and apple orchards and cider mills, okay? We're decorating with that fall vibe, the harvest vibe, right? And now for Samhain. And this is Halloween, the night of All Hallows Eve, okay? This is the second new moon after the fall equinox. So people celebrate Halloween on October 31st, okay? People celebrate Day of the Dead on November 1st. It's different for different cultures. I've done a video on what makes October so spooky, some other cultures' Halloween traditions before, but Samhain, this pagan holiday, traditionally it's celebrated on the second new moon after the fall equinox. So for instance, this year in 2024, the new moon is like 8 a.m. November 1st, where I am in Michigan. So October 31st, I mean, it's pretty accurate. Like that night of October 31st, the moon is going to be pretty new, So this year it is pretty accurate, but some years it's a few days off. But this is actually the pagan/Wiccan New Year. It's the end of the harvest. Like you're not really going to get many crops after. So it is about honoring that end of the harvest. It's about honoring ancestors, honoring the deceased, okay? Because this is when the veil is the thinnest between our realm and the spirit realm, between living beings on earth and deceased spirits who lived on earth. Our pagan ancestors knew this, felt this spooky vibe, okay? This honoring of the ancestors vibe around this time of year. And so we honor that during this holiday that is in between fall and winter. Celebrations include lighting candles, setting up altars, and then modernly, of course, for Halloween, there's costume parties and trick-or-treating and carving jack-o'-lanterns, etc. But at its core, it's about altars and candles and rituals and honoring the deceased. Then we've got Yule, the winter solstice, okay? December 21st-ish, which is very close to December 25th, which is Christmas. There's also Hanukkah. There's also Kwanzaa, etc. Yule has been celebrated from the winter solstice, December 21st-ish, for 12 days until like the new year, the modern new year on the calendar. But traditionally Yule was celebrated on the winter solstice. It's the day where the sun is reborn, okay? It's the shortest day of the year, but we're honoring the sun being reborn. Celebrations include burning the Yule log, burning a piece of wood, okay, in the fireplace or wherever, kissing under the mistletoe, that still goes on, decorating with holly and evergreen branches, and performing rituals to allow the sun's light back into the world. And then we've got Imbolc, Candlemas, okay, February 2nd-ish. It is the second new moon after the winter solstice. So it's winter, almost spring. It's dedicated to Brigid, a Celtic goddess of poetry and fire, and then she was later declared like a saint by the Catholic Church. Okay, Candlemas celebrations include lighting candles. I've got multiple candles going right now for this Imbolc. It's about Brigid, the Celtic goddess, but it's about lighting candles, lighting fireplaces, having a bunch of people walk with candles together, blessing the fields and animals because, you know, it's almost spring, so we're just kind of honoring that. We're setting intentions. We have lots of passion going on. Brigid, it's about poetry and fire, very, very passionate. Candles, very passionate, very energetic. So it's just about really like setting intentions, performing this intention ritual, blessing the fields and animals by lighting these candles and setting our intentions. Blessings for a fruitful next season. You know, spring is coming up, a new life is coming up, so we're just honoring that. And that is the 8 main pagan holidays. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you see correlations between these pagan holidays and what we do now in the modern world in the US or whatever part of the world you're in. Do you celebrate any of these holidays? At what level do you celebrate these holidays? I am very curious. Would you like to live on a hippie commune and celebrate these holidays with me in our own way? Maybe going back to these ancient traditions more, honoring the earth, honoring the sun, honoring this change of the seasons. Let's freaking do it, you guys. I hope you put these dates on your calendar so you remember, hey, it's the second new moon after the solstice or the equinox, or hey, it's the solstice or the equinox. Honor these powerful times of the year. Pay less attention to the modern holidays, pay more attention to the pagan holidays. That's what I'm doing, at least. Do whatever floats your boat. It is almost my 300th episode, okay? This is episode 290. We've got only a few more episodes until we get to 300, and that is when I'm going to be doing my 6th Q&A. I do a Q&A every 50 episodes, so let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments down below. Love you so much. Peace out.